Gyoubu Masataka Oniwa. This is the first major boss that you'll likely run into. Chained Ogre is a mini boss, so he doesn't count. Now, most people that have the game on Steam actually did beat this guy, so good job everybody. Now, this guide is definitely for those that are struggling with the game as a whole. But if you are stuck on our resident horseboy Gyoubu, I'll give you just enough information to help you beat him. This guide will go over what items are good, what skills you need, and all the openings the boss can have. However, I won't go into every single attack, just the ones that have easy punishes and the way I like to handle them without getting too fancy, as well as moves that might be hard to counter in general. Also, I'm not telling you how to cheese him either. I want to show you how to beat him normally without the need of skipping him or anything like that. I don't like cheesing bosses. Now, let's start with the rewards for beating Gyoubu. As with every major boss, you get their memory, which means a permanent increase to attack power, which is always nice. You also unlock the ability to upgrade your prosthetic tools at the main hub, and since he is a main boss, access to the rest of the game. He is not optional in any way, so... well, you can skip him, but he's not an optional boss. Okay, moving on to the rest of the guide, starting with preparation. In Sekiro, a lot of enemies are weak to specific attacks, so knowing your enemy is the key to make things easier. Knowledge is power after all. So there's at least one thing that he is weak to, and that's the firecrackers. This is a prosthetic tool that's mainly used against animals, but works on basically everybody. You're going to want to use the firecrackers to essentially bully Gyoubu's horse. Now, why is this useful, you may ask? Well, this will do a bunch of posture damage to the boss and stun him for like 2 seconds. Considering that he never blocks, the firecrackers allow you to dish out a good chunk of damage when used to prolong the punish windows he has. A warning, however, there is an internal cooldown the boss has to prevent it from being stun locked, so only use the firecrackers like once every 10 seconds or so. He also reacts differently between phases when the firecrackers wear off. In the first phase, he'll just run away, but in the second phase, he'll slam his spear down, so do watch out for that. Another important thing that'll help stagger the boss is the grappling hook attack skill from the prosthetic art skill tree. He has 3 attacks that has a grapple opening, and 2 of which will stagger him if you damage him with the skill, so pretty important to pick up as well. Then there's also all of the sugars you could use if you're feeling pretty adventurous. Use that as you will. Now, something to watch out for player-wise, and you can consider this as things you need to learn for success in Sekiro as a whole. Gyoubu doesn't block, and every attack he does has hyper armor. This means that you, as a player, can't be careless. It's very easy to do damage to him, but one hit too many and you're going to lose a lot of health. So learn when to not attack. For this boss, you're going to want to prioritize deflecting and posture damage over HP damage, because at this point in the game, your heals are very limited, so play more defensive than offensive. That being said, it is really easy to do a lot of damage to him because he doesn't block. So a safe ground rule, anything after 2 or 3 hits is greedy and unsafe, unless he gets staggered. So when in doubt, hit twice and prepare to deflect. Moving on to his moveset, while the boss does have 2 phases, I'm pretty sure they're both the same. As far as I could tell after all of my testing, the only difference came from after using the firecrackers specifically. As I mentioned before, in the first phase, he'll run away after the firecracker stun ends, in which case you can get like 6 hits during the duration. But in the second phase, he'll slam down on top of you, in which I believe you can squeeze in 3 hits, but the timing is very close. Okay, phase 1, at literally the beginning, you can get 11 hits in. As he runs up and starts his speech, you get 5 hits. Then, if you use the firecrackers, you can get another 6 hits in. And now you're a quarter of the way through his first health bar. Keep in mind, it is possible to miss the firecracker stun if you aim it wrong, or if you start attacking from the wrong place. So, to fix that, you can unlock the camera and free aim the firecrackers if need be. Now, moving on to the rest of the fight, he has 2 combos and 3 grapples that you need to look out for, meaning 5 total moves that you can abuse to deal a bunch of damage. Let's start with the most important openings, his grapple points. What I mean is, by missing these openings, you put yourself at risk of taking a lot of damage. It's easier to think of these as more defensive counters rather than offensive, but you still get a couple of guaranteed hits in. Now, Gyoubu has a total of 3 grapple points, 2 of which will guaranteed stagger the boss if you use the grapple hook attack that I mentioned before. There is an icon that shows you can grapple to him, and it looks like a circle with an upside down triangle inside of it. Unfortunately, the most common one he doesn't have much of a punish window and doesn't stagger him, but is the most important one to watch out for. Now, usually after a stagger, he'll run away, slam his spear into the ground, and kind of drift his horse to the left. This is what it looks like. Now make sure to delay the grapple air attack skill I talked about earlier until you're close enough to him. After that, you can have 2 more attacks when you're on the ground before he'll retaliate. So make sure to deflect right after the second hit because the timing is extremely tight. Also, make sure you don't miss this grapple because if you do, you'll have to deal with this charge thing, which will most likely kill you and is not easy to deflect at all. Here's the punish I do every time on this grapple point slowed down. Again, what you want to do is grapple, then air attack, then 2 hits on the ground into an instant deflect. Okay, moving on to the second grapple point. This is when he grabs the rope on his spear and swings it around him 2 or 3 times in a big circle. This is a good punish window. All you need to do is jump before you grapple. Make sure your grapple attack lands, then you get 2 hits in before he usually runs away. Here it is again, slowed down. Jump before you grapple, air attack, 2 hits, then prepare for his next move, whatever it may be. Now, the last grapple point is one you'll probably rarely see. With the way I fight this boss, I only see this move like once every 3 fights. Essentially, Gyoubu will stand up on his horse and throw his spear at you. If you dodge the attack, you'll be able to grapple attack him, stunning him for a few more hits as well. Again, make sure you dodge the spear hit before you grapple. It doesn't matter how you dodge it, and the move rarely hits me if I'm sprinting around. It almost never hits me, honestly. It's very easy to dodge. So, again, dodge, grapple, air attack, 2 hits, then prepare for his next move. Here it is slowed down. Okay, moving on to his combos now. He has 2 that lead up to good punish windows. All of his other attacks or combos are usually single swipes or big wind-up attacks. Most are relatively reactable. When you deflect those, however, you won't really get a good window to punish. Maybe you can squeeze 1 hit in, but it's not really reliable at all. So we'll move on to the combos that are consistently punishable. Starting with the first combo in his kit, the 3-hit combo starting with a big overhead. Essentially, he'll bring his spear down over his shoulder and do a big vertical slam followed by a poke from your right. The time for those 2 attacks are pretty quick, but the third and final attack will be another huge overhead again. If you deflect the last attack, you can get 2 or so free hits in, then normally he runs away. Now the second combo is a 2-hit combo. The first strike is a quick slash that transitions into his horse spinning and then rearing up on its hind legs. Then he'll slam down after a huge windup. After that, you get 2 free hits in, and then he'll usually run away, but it's kind of 50-50 if he'll run or if he attacks again with a different combo. The first hit can be hard to recognize, but this is the only attack where the horse does actually move like that, so it's easier just to react to the big slam rather than react to the first hit. Okay, moving away from combos, there is one last major punish window, and that is when you manage to stagger the boss without the firecrackers. Essentially, the bigger bosses in the game have a hidden meter that, when filled, will stagger the boss. For Gyoubu, his horse will rear up on its hind legs again. You can get 6 free hits in if you don't hesitate at the start of the animation, but if you plan on using the firecrackers to extend the opening, just do 5 hits and then use the firecrackers. Again though, it is possible to miss the firecrackers depending on where you're looking at, but it is the maximum punish for 11 hits total, just like the start of the fight. Again, there's almost no difference between phase 1 and 2, so we can move on to things that might be hard to avoid in general. If you miss the most common grapple window, as I mentioned before, he can go into a charge that becomes difficult to deflect. You shouldn't be missing that grapple anyway because it is a good and consistent punish window. Then there's the move where he alternates between swinging his spear on his left and right side. He normally is never in range to actually hit you with the move, but occasionally, and its deceptively big hitbox, the attack might clip you, so I personally like to deflect it, regardless of if I'm in range or not. And the last move is his big sweep. He'll kind of scrape the ground for a few seconds while riding his horse at you. It's relatively easy to dodge, but make sure you're jumping away from him. It will also flash the perilous icon as well, so it is hard to mistake this move for anything else he has in his kit. And that's pretty much it. Gyoubu isn't a crazy difficult boss. I mean, he is the first main boss of the game, and it only really gets harder from here. Well, mostly. So, to recap, don't get greedy. 2 hits is the magic number, unless he gets staggered, in which case you can do 6. If you go for the firecracker route, be careful of the second phase because he will hit you back instead of running away. And lastly, make sure to grapple him every chance you get, because if you miss one, it's probably gonna hurt you a lot. And they're good punish windows, so don't miss the grapples. And that's it for me. I wish you good luck and have fun. Use this boss to sharpen your fundamentals and take a break if you need to. The rest of the video is going to be me beating the boss, so stick around if you do want to watch that. My name is Axotol. Make sure you drink some water and get some sleep. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye! Okay, so you made it to the end of the video. This is going to be a live run. So 5 hits. 5. I missed the firecrackers because I started late. Alright, this is the 3-hit combo, big slam. And you get like 2 hits. 1, 2, third one didn't connect, that's fine. Make sure you grapple. 1, 2, deflect, he missed, that's fine. 2, 3, 4, 5, firecrackers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at that, half HP already. Don't miss the grapple. 1, 2, deflect, he missed again. Get another free 6 hits. I'm not going to do the firecrackers because there is a cooldown. Make sure you jump before you grapple. Delay the mid-air attack. There's another big combo, and then that's the first phase. Okay, second phase. Not really that different. Don't miss the grapple. Delay the mid-air attack. I'm glad he missed because I wasn't paying attention. Alright, he's just flailing. I'm gonna firecracker early. Yeah, the camera is really the biggest enemy in this fight now. There's a 3-hit combo again. Oh, he didn't run away that time. Well, he did, but... Okay, we got it. 2 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sweet. Like, the boss isn't difficult. Just make sure you get these grapples. That's the most important thing. Here's the 3-hit combo again. Make sure you deflect the last hit. Alright, and then you staggered into the kill. So, yeah. I already did the outro, but my name's Axotol. This is Gyoubu Masataka Oniwa. Yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.